performance. And bushels don't lie. Local results coming soon. Visit nkseeds.com/harvest.
Hi there, I'm here to tell you a little about this new program called Safe to Help Illinois.
Maybe you know somebody who's being bullied, or worse, thinking about hurting themselves or others. If you don't feel safe telling an adult about the things that are happening around you, check out Safe to Help.
Safe to Help is not about snitching or getting someone in trouble. It's about helping one another out.
You can call, you can text.
You can download the free mobile app, and it's all over social media.
So what do you say? Let's give it a try.
Brought to you by IEMA.
You're finding Central Illinois. WHOW.
Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. It is the WHOW Morning Show, streaming live to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. My guest in studio today from the Neighborhood Care Center, Laura Conheady. Good morning, Laura. How are you?
Good morning. Great.
Thanks for coming out and talking with us. And Cody Monkman is the executive director. Good morning, Cody.
Good morning.
We were having spirited conversation before the before we came on the air. And Cody, let's talk a little bit about some exciting news for the Neighborhood Care Center. I know this past weekend you were the recipient of the annual car show that Scott Baum and Baum Chevrolet Buick puts together during the Apple and Pork Festival. How about that fundraiser and being able to benefit from that?
Yeah, so I got a call several weeks ago, and they asked if Neighborhood Care Center would be interested in being the charity of the year. And of course I asked, what does that mean? And and honestly, it was such a wonderful surprise. This year's been a challenging year for everyone in regards to costs of things are going up, income is going down. And so whether that's individual families that connect to our care center network, or the neighborhood care center itself, this fundraiser came at couldn't have been a better time, honestly. Mm-hmm. So we're very thankful for Scott and his team for thinking of us.
Sure. So does that money have a specific purpose for your organization then?
Right now it will, whenever we get the actual donation, it will go into our general fund, and it will help us prepare for next year.
All right. Very good.
Yeah.
Do you know how much that donation will be at this point?
I've been told just under 17,000.
Wow. So that is terrific.
Little over 15,000. So somewhere in there.
That is terrific.
And I mean, they said that it was the largest car show that they've had.
Wow,
so
that's great.
The cars just kept rolling in on Saturday, and every year it gets bigger and bigger. And Scott is always wonderful to work with. So
yeah, for sure. So that's great for you guys, man.
Yeah.
That's terrific. That's got to be exciting, right? I mean,
oh my gosh. I actually looked in our records in the last 2 years, and it is the biggest one-time donation that Neighborhood Care Center has ever received from one entity. So,
wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Very good. So not only that, Cody, but coming up in November, I had Randy Miller on our show yesterday to talk about the WHOW 75th Anniversary Celebration Banquet that he is putting together. And you're going to be one of the beneficiaries of that celebration at the Clinton Country Club. So more folks recognizing the Neighborhood Care Center.
You have no idea about the timing of both of these fundraisers. They're, as I've already said, just all of our incomes are not increasing at the rate of inflation. And, particularly in our care center services, we are for sure even seeing this in local families, people that we've never met before, who have never been in a vulnerable situation, asking for support and help.
Mm-hmm.
And so obviously that means that the care center costs are rising as well. And I've had some side conversations with Laura about my concerns with how things are going for the nonprofit. And Scott's phone call and then Randy's phone call, I literally think they came within like weeks of one another. They could not have been at a better time. So I'm super thankful that Randy also thought of us in regards to the radio station's anniversary celebration.
Yeah. Divine intervention, probably.
Hey, yes.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, and I just think it speaks to the impact that you're having in the community as well. I mean, I think folks recognize it, and it's a broad impact that you're having. I mean, you've really created quite a network, if you will.
Oh, a network?
A network.
Oh, I love that word.
I know.
No.
That's why I said it.
I
know your trigger words.
What's
Cody.
funny? Oh, you're so funny. No, so even at the car show fundraiser, I gave a little welcome elevator speech, and there were people there, Apple and Pork, people from all over. There were people in the McLean County area that had maybe heard a little bit about the care center, but they didn't know what all was involved with that. And in that speech, I shared a little bit, and it's already led to some future conversations in this next week or two, connecting with people and, hopefully launching them into living out whatever they're called to in regards to their community.
So not only was it a great financial benefit, it was a great, again, networking.
It really was. It really was. So yeah.
Great. So win-win.
Win-win.
Win-win-win. Do you watch The Office?
I don't. I have before.
Okay.
But I'm not an Office
junkie.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I saw this funny thing the other day. This is a side bar, if you will. So it was a meme on Instagram, and it said people who like Office fans concern me because they ask the question, do you watch The Office? As in, it's an ongoing thing. You don't ever stop.
That is so true.
It is. I can speak from experience. And then they say, but instead of saying, have you ever watched The Office? As in, like, you watched it once, maybe twice, and that was enough. And you don't need to keep, it's like Seinfeld.
Because you watch the seasons over and over and over.
I just rotate. I rotate from The Office to Seinfeld, maybe a little Parks and Rec in there.
Yes.
Maybe throw some Brooklyn Nine-Nine in. I'll go back to The Last Dance, 10-piece documentary series about Michael Jordan and the Bulls.
You're really reliving childhood too.
Oh man, you have no idea.
You
have no idea. Oh yeah, for sure.
Gosh.
So, did you watch that series, by the way?
No, I haven't.
It's fantastic.
No, I bet it is.
Did you like basketball back in the 90s?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone did, even if you weren't good at basketball.
Then you got to watch it, man. Do you have Netflix?
Even if you didn't know how the scoring worked, you watched basketball.
Do you have Netflix?
I do have Netflix.
Well, then go watch it. I don't know.
Sounds like I need to.
Yeah, please report back to me next month, if you will.
Good.
Back to the Neighborhood Care Center, Executive Director Cody Monkman joins us in studio for today. So, Cody, you talked about those donations going into your general fund. I know we're going to get very technical and kind of deep in the weeds a little bit here, but talk about the connection between the Neighborhood Care Center and the Clinton Ministerial Association.
Yeah, so one of our service platforms to the community, both for DeWitt County, Maroa, and McLean County, is what we call Economic Support Services. That is our service platform for financial assistance. And with that service platform, there are 3 different funds that we use internally to provide support to local families. Now, sometimes we will refer them externally as well, but we have 3 funds in-house that we can use. One of those funds is the Clinton Area Ministerial Association Fund. The other 2 funds are directly tied to the operating budget of Neighborhood Care Center. So Clinton Area Ministerial Association is a totally different entity from Neighborhood Care Center, but the CAMA has asked the Neighborhood Care Center to be the point person, the representative of CAMA when it comes to giving financial assistance through their fund.
Okay.
That fund, out of the 3, that's the fund that we use most often when it comes to economic support services. And local families can get up to $100. Our guidelines that CAMA has given us is up to $100 per year, as well as 2 gas vouchers per year. Now we can bend those guidelines because CAMA gives us the authority that, like, if we discern that, it's a special scenario, we can bend the guideline a little bit and do more
Mhm.
than $100 or a third gas voucher. But that's why we have the other couple of funds as well as referring people outward. So that is how CAMA's relationship to Neighborhood Care Center is. They are not the same thing. However, we are the representatives of CAMA.
Gotcha. So when it comes to, like, if somebody makes a donation to the Neighborhood Care Center, it can't go into that financial assistance fund.
Not the CAMA fund.
Now, why can't you as an organization make a donation to the CAMA fund? And
Well,
then
that's a good question, Seth.
Thank
Because
you.
we did recently, because the fund got depleted. So the
You
CAMA,
laugh like it's hilarious.
well, I don't actually know if Neighborhood Care Center has ever done that in since its creation. Where
Donated
I
to-
don't recall, but
No, I don't think we've ever been that
but
low.
the CAMA fund literally got depleted a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it was a matter of either you don't provide economic support services for families, or you do what you need to do, scrape the bottom of the barrel to try to keep going until we can get more funding for CAMA.
So is this a call for funds to the CAMA fund?
It absolutely
Yes.
is.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, Seth, I'm not kidding you. It was, we'll have Care Center made a donation to CAMA, and then I think we ran to Casey's General Store to get like 5 gas cards or something, because that was all that we could afford to get without overdrawing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was like, let's do what little we can to keep the show going. And then we even talked about how let's go get a couple of like random gift cards to like Dollar Tree or something that's like $10. That way, because a lot of requests have been like for rent and power, which, I mean, those bills, I mean, even some of our assistants, usually we have to refer them to some other agencies. And so we thought, instead of telling families no, we can at least show some grace by giving them a $10 gift card to Dollar Tree.
Right.
I mean, that's how bad it was.
Mhm.
As we were trying to think through, how can we still provide some kind of support, even though it's not what they're asking for.
Yeah. So, and with the holidays coming up, I know you and I have had this conversation in the past about, CAMA is, helps with like Salvation Army, if I'm not mistaken, or that's who kind of directs the Salvation Army funds. With, of course, the giving season on the horizon, CAMA is a great organization to give to. It sounds like you're helping families in need.
Absolutely. And all of CAMA's funds stay local.
Right.
So,
sure.
but the thought that I even had was during this season, like just with Laura's work as our team lead mission partner for economic support services, both of us have felt the greater need of gas. I mean, to no surprise, starting in June, that was like a huge request. And so I thought, as the director of the Care Center, since we oversee the CAMA funds, I wanted to know what is the cause, like what are the biggest requests, like why is the CAMA fund struggling? And so I did an analysis on it, and what I found was from January this year to July of this year, the end of July, we have already surpassed the total amount of economic support appointments that we did for all of 2021.
Wow.
We've already maxed that or surpassed that in the first 7 months of this year.
Wow.
In which case, the second half of the calendar year is usually the busier part of the year.
Oh, wow.
And we're just now getting into it. And then in regards to gas, because I knew that I was feeling that request a lot. I mean, when Laura tells me go get more gas cards, I'm feeling that request quite a bit. And so I looked that up, and we have given out twice as much as last year. I want to believe,
in a higher amount.
if I remember, it was like all of last year we gave like $2,000 worth in gas to local families, and between January and this year we were like 3,500 already.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
So folks, calling on folks to give to the Clinton Area Ministerial Association to help out local families. Cody, let's take a time out here. We'll come back and talk some more. How do folks follow along with all things Neighborhood Care Center?
Yeah, our website is neighborhoodcarecenter.net, and you can also find us on Instagram and Facebook.
That is Cody Monkman and Laura Conheady with the Neighborhood Care Center, our guests in studio. More to come with them on the WHOW Morning Show.
WHOW.
Let's check the opening numbers now at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Tuesday. I'm Jim Taylor for the RFD Radio Network. Corn, beans, and wheat all starting the day higher. December corn 672 3/4, up 6.5. March corn up 6.5, 677 1/4. May corn opening 678 1/4, up 6 3/4. November beans starting the day 1422 1/2, up 11 1/4. January beans up a dime, 1426 1/4. March beans 1428 1/4, up 9 1/2. December wheat 875 1/4, up 17 1/4. March wheat up 17 3/4, 889. May wheat 895 1/2, up 17 3/4. October bean meal 433 even, that's up 40 cents. And October bean oil 66.27, up 16 cents. Looking at the energy market, November crude oil 78.17, that's up $1.46. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
Baum Chevrolet Buick also has transportation options in Farmer City. This is Scott Baum. Baum Motor Company in Farmer City has been open since 2002. We have used cars and trucks, SUVs and crossovers to fit your transportation needs. We also have a convenient service option for maintenance and repairs, plus trailer sales and trailer rentals. Come see Chase Stevenson, Taylor Kennedy for sales, and Matt French for service. Baum Motor Company in Farmer City, right from the start.
Clinton Save-A-Lot owner Dave Jackson here with a supply chain update. While we're working as best we can to keep our shelves stocked with the items you need and want every day, we're experiencing never-before-seen interruptions in product availability and delivery, both through Save-A-Lot and our direct suppliers. In most cases, they can't run their production lines due to the lack of workers, plus a shortage of truck drivers. Despite all that, we're working to keep the meat, produce, and other products you buy in stock and on our shelves every day. Your Clinton Save-A-Lot appreciates your business, and we hope to see you soon.
Your friend in Central Illinois, WHOW.
Once again, good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. My guest in studio this morning, again, Cody Monkman, Executive Director of the Neighborhood Care Center. And with him today is Laura Conheady. And Cody, let's start with, what is it like when someone walks into the Neighborhood Care Center for support services? What's the process like? You know, how long is it? How about some of those things?
Yeah, so I will describe to you what it would be like for someone to stop by at our care center in Clinton for Dewitt County, Maroa. It plays out a little bit different in Hayworth for those who live in those small towns in McLean County. So if someone were to stop by Neighborhood Care Center in Clinton, our main entry door is off of Main Street, and usually they will come in between 12:30 or 3 on Tuesdays or Thursdays. Sometimes people may call ahead to let us know they're coming, or asking us for sure. If they've never had assistance before, they ask, like, what do I need to bring? You usually can tell that they're a little anxious or nervous about stopping by. So then when we're open, they come through our main entry door. They're usually going to be greeted by someone. And that greeter's job is really to direct people, neighbors, visitors, whether they are here for food, they sign in at Neighborhood Market's desk. And if they're here for economic support services, there's a totally different sign in for those appointments. And so the greeter's job is to direct people, but also look for those people who are maybe a little anxious or timid, and reassure them that we're glad that they stopped by and it's okay. We have a little coffee station there that we offer coffee. And when we have it, bottled water. I think right now, for a time, we've been offering bags of Cheez-Its. So there you go. Grab your bag of Cheez-Its and a cup of coffee. Yum, yum.
Do Cheez-Its and coffee go together?
I've never tried it, but
well, that's another one you're gonna have to try, and I want a full report when you come back.
Always happy.
Yeah, there you go.
So But, especially while they wait, they're more than welcome to that. We have a resource wall that they can go to as well and look at the different materials there and whatnot. But nonetheless, if they're there for economic support services, they've signed in. And when Laura starts those appointments out of that office, she just works her way down the list. It's it really is first come, first serve. But as long as someone signs in, we're pretty committed to meeting with them, even if, we go past the 3:00 closing time for our afternoon hours. And just recently, actually, the last time Laura was in there, she had 11 appointments
in 2 hours.
In 2 hours.
Wow, that's great.
That is a very, very busy. We have been in a season. This helps also explain why Cama Fund is struggling. A typical day right now, it seems to be about 10 appointments. And, prior to the last 6 months, a typical day was between 4 and 6. So we've doubled, and that's about every Tuesday, every Thursday. That's about how many appointments we have. So I'm going to let Laura explain, though, as she works down the list, what does that appointment look like?
Well, I go out and call their name. They come into the office, and the first thing I always try to do is make them feel very comfortable about being there, because I do know it can be scary, like Cody said, and a person can be anxious about it. So we get past that and just sit down and start discussing whether it's their Ameren bill, if it's rent, if they need gas cards, and we just work that out according to our guidelines that CAMA has given us. And
do you encourage them to bring any materials, whether proof of income?
Yes, you always have to have your ID, and then if you're there for a bill, you need to bring your bill in that we're going to discuss. And we help with all kinds of different things. There's special circumstances at times, and like Cody had said too, sometimes we have to refer them out to other places where they can receive help. But
right.
Yeah, it's, and then if they have any prayer concerns or anything like that, I pray with them and just try to make them feel welcome. And we also like to know how people heard about us. That's another important thing.
I see. Cody, anything that Laura hasn't mentioned you want her to talk about?
Well, and usually the answer when I ask how did they hear about Neighborhood Care Center, it's word of mouth, like a neighbor or a friend or someone.
Yeah, we love
told them
having new people come in.
I think what's important that I want the general public to know is, and of course, whenever you talk about topics like this, I feel like the common thing is, we want to talk about the quote users and abusers. And the reality is, Neighborhood Care Center, with all of our service platforms, we have a process, and part of our mission is to connect people to a relational network. And, people can get access to financial help, food, any of that physical stuff. There's places that they can get that without the expectation of, we want to get to know you. Right. We want to partner with you and your family. And so the quote users and abusers, they're usually not interested in that, which means our neighbors that we engage with, I would say by and large, are not what someone may think of as a user or abuser. These are great, wonderful people that you pass in the grocery store, that you hang out with at the restaurants, that you are walking by when you're jogging around town or what have you. And in particular, I'm thinking of, without giving too much detail, a gentleman not originally from Clinton, but found his way here from Macon County. And when we talked to him at the time, he was homeless. And, after that appointment and hearing part of his background, we spoke to him and we just said, hey, like, your core issue is abandonment. And you should have just seen the tears fall.
Cody, I wish we could go further with that story. Unfortunately, I have to let you go. Cody Monkman and Laura Conheady with the Neighborhood Care Center. Network News is next.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM, W222 BG Clinton, 106.